Hi, everybody. How you doing? We'll see how many people watch this later on. I would say Brad live from Fort Myers, Florida, with palm trees and iguanas falling from them. Now, it's a beautiful day. It's about 80 degrees. We've got it good. So since no one's on here, and I know that people watch it later, I'm going to get right to the clinic. I want to give you 2 ways of chipping if you're a struggling golfer. This is great for beginners. This is great for intermediates. Most good players already understand this. And down in Florida with grainy Bermuda grass, you have to have a second option. So one is going to be a little golf swing, just a standard bump and run chip, right? No extending of the lead wrist, no swaying, a really simple lean forward, rock your shoulders like a putt. Very similar to a putt. And the second one will be understanding how to use the bounce, this beautiful insurance policy on the bottom of your club. I recommend at least one high bounce club, and I'm using a 56-degree sand wedge with 12 degrees of bounce. Now, I can't give you the exact grind, and I don't want it to be that cerebral. There's incredible instruction out there on this subject from James Ridyard. I highly recommend you check out my British friend James Ridyard, Ridyard. So I'm not afraid to promote other people. He's helped me a lot with this, but I'm going to keep it really simple. He would add on the layers of sophistication, and this has worked tremendous for me over the last few years on my lesson tee. So let's do the first one that you must learn, the simple bump and run, but it's not the only one you need, so stick around. Got my plastic golf ball, got the pool, got the pond. Pond would be good for you. I had to sneak a Caddyshack in there. I always do it. 30% chance I fall in the drink. If I do, I'll laugh at me with you. My first clinic was a disaster with audio. Hopefully this is better. But the best thing about lives are if they don't end up good, I'll just turn them off. And even if the audio gets a little messed up, if you look at what my body weight's doing, my hands, keep an eye on my body weight in my hands and the club shaft. You could almost watch this in mute. All right, so standard bump and run. I'm going to lean a little bit to the left, ball position slightly forward of center. And all I'm going to do is make a shoulder motion with my lowercase letter y. So if you see the club shaft and you see my 2 arms, again, the club shaft and 2 arms, when I lean to the left, they form the capital letter Y. I just want to maintain the integrity of that lowercase y, so it's all shoulders, no lower body. The lower body's frozen in concrete. The lowercase y I got from Kathy Schmidt, an LPGA instructor in Tampa. She's fantastic. So I've been teaching for 15 years, and I've had a lot of success and continued success, but I'm never afraid to look for more answers. Doesn't matter how many degrees you have, how many certificates to teach. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars to learn how to teach golf above and beyond my college degree in communication. So, once you think you know it all, you're not a very effective instructor for your students. So, a couple experts there that you can check out. James Ridyard, expert on chipping and pitching. And then, of course, Kathy Schmidt, great overall PGA pro, LPGA pro, out of the Tampa area. I forget the city she's in. It's been a while since I've been up there. A little shadowy. Forgive me. Again, recap on the bump and run. Look at my 2 arms. Look at the club. I'm going to lean a little bit to the left with my body weight. Hopefully I'm showing up on this clinic as a right-handed golfer. And then I just use my shoulders to make sure I don't sway or flick. No swaying or flicking, flicking known as extending the lead wrist. Take that lowercase y, shoulder back, shoulder through, piece of cake. It's going to go pretty low. That one probably would have went about 20 yards. Now, with the same club, the 56 degrees with the 12 degrees of bounce, we're going to utilize a second method of chipping. And again, lots of layers of sophistication for this if you want it, or you can keep it really simple. This has been phenomenal for my students. And again, it's not exactly how James Ridyard has prescribed it, but he has taught me how to improve my teaching in grainy Bermuda grass. And this is good for all kinds of grass, right? And even if the grass is pretty short. So we'll get out on the golf course when it stays light out later across the street. But right now it's circus season, so I have to give my instruction on the course with players, but once I start trying to do a live, they all come over. My camera gets knocked over, and they want to know what's going on. So we'll wait until circus season is over in a few weeks, and we'll use daylight savings time, maybe around 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, to start doing stuff on the course. I'd rather chip off of Bermuda grass. I'd rather explain this by going over a bunker. But this second method allows you to use the bounce of the club. Again, the bounce, we're going to keep it easy. It's just the way the club is built, the bottom of the club. It's meant to bounce instead of dig. So if all you ever do is put your weight forward, right, and lean the shaft forward, you're exposing that leading edge. There's going to be some times, maybe 20, 30% of the time, when you just dig in the ground and you duff it. You get frustrated, right? Start flicking at it. Next thing you know, you got the yips. Now you're in trouble. If you get the yips, you're going to really have to take a time out and really trick that brain. So don't get frustrated. Don't get the yips. Just understand that there is an alternative to the bump and run, and it's called, well, I don't really have a name for it, but we're going to call it the bounce. Right? The bounce. Using the bounce of the club to bounce through the grass. I tell my students, believe it or not, to try to hit about an inch behind the ball and extend their lead wrist. I'm not kidding. That's how you expose the bounce, is by extending the lead wrist. Watch it at setup. If you lean, there's the digger, the leading edge of the club. Again, it's a really good go-to shot. If you take a practice swing and the grass isn't grabbing your club, or you don't have to go over something, fine, right? You can use this, and if you have clean grooves and a high-performance golf ball, you probably can get it to drop on a dime pretty quick. I know I can. But down here in Florida, we have against the grain grass, and the grass lays pretty tight. Well, you can actually go under a ball and add loft to the club and have another option for stopping the ball, right, with height. So you can do it with spin, you can do it with height. Let's get more trajectory. Let's go over a bunker. Let's go over a little water. Let's get to a tight pin. It's not that hard. You can even miss a few inches behind the ball. The point of the bounce is it'll keep bouncing through. There's a lot of room to miss for this. I want you to try this out. So we're going to put the ball position just forward of center again. And I don't need to concentrate much on any kind of body movement forward. As the shot gets a little longer, that'll just happen naturally. But I want you to think about 50-50 weight. And, you know, if you're a swayer, you could put a little bit more weight on the forward foot. That's fine. The main thing is I don't want lean in the shaft, okay? So if I have my weight roughly 50-50 or just a little favoring the front side, and I have the shaft neutral, meaning it looks like my two arms in the club form a capital letter Y instead of lowercase, you'll notice that the bounce has been exposed, and I can extend this lead wrist just a little bit and actually try to get under the ball. This is a time where it's okay as a beginner and intermediate to try to get under the damn ball. So we're going to add loft. We're going to bounce the club behind and under the ball. I promise this will work great. There are times when there just might not be any grass and this won't work, but this works on really short grass. So here we go. Woo, look at that. That was beautiful. So I actually tried to hit about an inch behind it. I hit about 3 inches behind it, and that's okay because, again, it bounced. Any other golf shot, if you hit 3 inches behind it, you're going to duff it or whiff it or do something nasty. Not when you know how to use a sand wedge. A sand wedge is constructed, the bottom of the club, to have an insurance policy for beginners and intermediates. Make sure that you get a sand wedge that has at least 12 degrees bounce. It'll help you in the sand, and it will help you a ton, even on tight lies. So you want to mess with this. Extend the lead wrist, expose the bounce at setup by making sure the shaft isn't forward, and then feeling a little bit of this behind the ball. Hit behind and under. The ball will go a lot higher. You're adding loft to the club. You can get over that bunker. You can get to the tight pin. You can get over the water. And I'll do a lob here. This is kind of a bigger version of the shot. Let's say I have to go 25 yards over a bunker. You'll start to see that just naturally because I'm swinging with a little more speed. I'm not doing anything different other than maybe just a little bit of a supportive pivot that'll come with it. But I don't like people thinking too much. I'm literally going to try to flick my wrist behind and under the ball. And then, like I said, you can go over and see James Ridyard if you want a little bit more in terms of layers of sophistication. Sorry, still fighting the COVID bug right now. So words are tough. But we feel good in the house. We all got it, but we're all pretty much done with it. Just waiting to test negative, but we all feel good. So let's get another shot here. So I'm just going to take the club back a little further because that's what I prescribe as an instructor to keep things simple is the longer the chip shot, the longer the backstroke, kind of like a putt. The longer the putt, the longer the backstroke. And there's a lot of different ways to get to the mall. There's a lot of information out there. I like to keep things really simple for developing golfers. Okay. So we're going to go a little further here. We're going to make sure that we take it back further and extend. Try to hit about an inch behind and under the ball. Again, look at the extension of the lead wrist. Yes, you can flick. On regular golf swings, I spend all day, every day teaching people not to do this. You can do it for this shot. This is one layer of sophistication and a second way to get to the mall when it comes to chipping, right? Little longer shot, a little higher, 25 yards over a bunker. Oh, mama. Bam. It almost looks like I know what I'm doing. Again, we'll get on the golf course. I'll hit some balls live. We'll deal with some grainy grass. We'll deal with some bunker, all kinds of cool stuff as soon as season settles down a little bit. I'm relatively new on YouTube. If you like this, hit subscribe, hit like, help the channel out. We've been struggling a little bit because it's February and analytics say that's when we struggle. But we have grown at a top 1%. Is my understanding. So in 6 months, we have about 1,300 subscribers, and I'm honored that people are enjoying this. My name is Brad with OnlineGolfLessons.net. If you want to come over to Facebook and join my Facebook group, it's really quaint. It's really cool. I always answer questions. I do a lot of lives. I even kind of jump in the drink, and we have some fun. We have some beers. It's just fun. Go to Facebook and find me at Golf Group for Beginners and Intermediates. It's Brad with OnlineGolfLessons.net. Clinic number 2, I'll check the audio, cross my fingers. Let's see if it worked. And if there's any questions, I'll answer them later. Here's the best part. This is where people laugh because I don't know how to end these.